Formula One is about the glitz and the glamour and of course a lot of the hype that builds up to every single Grand Prix. But sometimes the tracks don't match up to the hype that surrounds the event. I'm Ollie Wilson for GPFans, and here are some of the overhyped circuits and perhaps some of the tracks that we would be happy to see removed from a stacked Formula One calendar. Now, of course, if you don't like what we've put down and you've got any other suggestions, let us know in the comments section below, and GPFans.com and GPFans Global for all of your F1 news. And give us a like and subscribe if you like what you see. Before we get into the list, let's talk about Monaco. Now, many of you would expect Monaco to be on this list, and we understand why. The lack of overtaking on track means the action certainly doesn't meet the build-up around it. That's 100% true, but the 90 to 120 minute duel of man against the metal barriers that line the most iconic circuit on the Formula One calendar is still the most intense viewing spectacle in the sport. It's not all drama and overtaking, but inside the cockpit, it's the toughest test in motorsport's top tier that so many circuits try to replicate. And that's why here at GPFans, we just couldn't put Monaco on our list of circuits to remove from the calendar. The Circuit de Catalunya will always have a place in Formula One fans' hearts. A favoured testing ground for the teams with its diverse layout of slow and fast turns and a long pit straight as well to see maximum engine power, it's been synonymous with F1's pre-season and middle part of the calendar. But the racing has gone stale. Very stale. We've been starved of a great Grand Prix for a number of years there, and it's rapidly falling out of favour with the viewing public, who want more than just a procession on the outskirts of Barcelona. In fairness, the fanfare around this race is hardly the loudest on the calendar compared to many others on this list, probably because this sleeping giant of an event may actually be in a long-term coma. It's time to pull the plug and see if a new venue can spark life into the Spanish Grand Prix. Much like Monaco, Miami's first running last season felt like one big billionaire's party. The rich and famous came to be seen and see the scene of the biggest motorsport party to hit the South Florida region. Like Monaco too though, the action on the brand new circuit brought to F1 was lacking in excitement, drama and spectacle. It felt like a Grand Prix made for Instagram rather than made for racing. The circuit didn't feel ready to race on according to the drivers and was hardly eye-catching for the TV viewer. The whole thing felt a lot like the harbour alongside the circuit. From a distance, it looked pretty good. Close up, you realised it was all quite fake and kind of plastic. Not on the calendar for this coming year due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the restrictions that still impact the country, but to be honest, probably doesn't really matter. The Chinese Grand Prix has been missing now since 2019 and no one has really clamoured for its return. The circuit itself is actually quite entertaining with its long dragging back straight and complex corners throughout, but it's never been a Grand Prix that has really carved out any sort of iconic status. Crowds have rarely packed out the venue, although that could change when Zhou Guanyu finally gets a chance to show up at his home race, but its absence won't be missed from the calendar this year and probably wouldn't be missed in the long-term future of the sport. Let's get into some controversial ones then. Perhaps in 2021, when the Jeddah Street Circuit first hit the calendar, we were all just drunk and intoxicated by the battle in the Drivers' World Championship. Or perhaps it was the nearby attack on an oil refinery the following year that took the edge off the race. But either way, 2022's running of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix felt a far cry off the same race that had taken place at the penultimate event of the 2021 calendar. The Jeddah Street Circuit isn't a bad one in its layout, and it has the same tension as Monaco with its close, unforgiving barriers. But Monaco, it is not. It doesn't have that same cultured class of the Principality. Instead, the clamour to be the new Monaco feels like a forced push to be considered in F1's elite venues. The track feels like an accident waiting to happen as it almost funnels cars together in certain sections, while the raw speed on offer produces an uncomfortable level of anxiety for the viewers as the drivers are pushed to the limit in a manner that seems almost too dangerous for their own good. The backdrop of the street circuit hardly matches the beautiful old meets new architecture of Baku or the hills that loom above Monaco. It's trying to be iconic in a calendar that is littered now with street circuits that do what Jeddah is trying to do, but a lot better. Like many on this list, the Yas Marina circuit is all packaging, no substance. A 2021 race that was saved or ruined by the mess of Michael Masi helped to reclaim a modicum of excitement that has been few and far between in its tenure on the calendar. But if a certain safety car hadn't ducked into the pits a lap too early, 2021's climactic finish to the season would have been replaced by what we normally see at Yas Marina, a relative procession to the finish. As a season-ending circuit, it will, of course, have some moments to remember, as champions have been crowned on its tarmac. But as a race, overtaking is minimal, and the build-up has often never been propped up by the race that is delivered. Its beautiful setting under the lights and the stunning hotel that stands tall over the circuit quickly are forgotten as mundanity ensues. Even its recent renovations to try and aid the spectacle and overtaking have done little to change it. It's just not that fun a way to finish a season. Now, if there are any Grand Prix that we've left out, let us know in the comments section below. Is Las Vegas going to be the same as some on this list, with all the pomp and hoorah before the race and very little coming during it? Let us know as always, gpfans.com and gpfans global for all of your F1 news and views.